Hi, what's up? We're in the next pod. Please go check out the previous pod to gauge your bearings. I had to remove that thing in the previous pod to show you my background, but I'm putting it back because I don't like how it looks. Okay? I want to tell you, please go listen to the previous pod to gauge. You're going to have to listen to it. I apologize for all of y'all that are not from South Africa. Chances are you're not even in this part anyway, because a lot of Setswana. My language is this is Zulu, blah blah. So you won't understand. So right now I'm just speaking to abantu South Africa, abantu amnyama in particular, because really, frankly, this is just for you. This here message, when it's easy, very easy to relate. When I was in primary school, there was this girl by the name of Belinda. She had tall tales. Mayfair Convent. We were like, what age of primary? Like standard 1. Was that grade 3, grade 4? We were grade 3, grade 4 type age. And this chick would come to school every single day. My cousin Nakena, the same school, Linna as well at the time. The one that was my best friend, but turned awry. Anyway, she would be able to corroborate this story. This chick would come to school every single day and tell us all these stories about what's going on. Go Habon. Okay, like she would talk about how it is that Hana di Jokajeko because Babua and like things are just like really messed up and nasty. Go Habon, matata man, like yeah, and because of which was strangely raised from the dead so very many times, because she would talk about the very grandmother that passed away about 2 weeks later, and we as kids never really caught on to one day she came to school and said that also that was in high school at the time has been arrested. That she not high school, like varsity age. She was out of high school. She was speaking about how her older sister got arrested. At least I can listen afro, and she would tell us etc. And it was all very heartbreakers. Before school starts, ka break. Literally, we would go like a chelete and give it to her in order to go and feed her family, because anybody. And she said that she slept one time. She said to us, go jail with her sister. She slept with her sister in jail because she had nowhere else to sleep. And because we're kids, we did not know any better. We did not know that that's not how the law works. We did not know that you can't just bring a child into a prison. So my cousin goes and tells her sister. My cousin had an older half sister, much older half sister, that was at the time when we were in primary school, she could have been in high school, right? She goes and says to her sister, hey sister, hey, there's this girl at school, she's going through so much, and our hearts are breaking for her. Every so often because and then my cousin goes on right ahead to tell her sister, I guess my cousin too, yeah, she goes on to tell her older sister the stories. And when my cousin tells her sister, her older sister, all these stories, her older sister put water, like it's almost as if though she removed the scales from all of our eyes. When she came back and gave us the testimony, the story, my cousin, when she came back and told the rest of us, her sister was like, what? Literally, she creased her forehead on some, what? This kid is lying to you. Ain't no child sleeping in prison. And you said that this chick's grandmother passed away 2 weeks ago. Didn't her grandmother, like just yesterday, didn't she speak a story about her grandmother then? Her grandmother's likely not dead. This chick is a pathological liar. She is a liar. Oh, guys, she's trying to get you guys to keep on calling for her lemo 45 ranta. That's what she's doing. She's literally chugging. That's what she's doing. She's trying to get money out of you through a scandalous, underhanded, shoddy ways. That's what this woman, this child, is doing. And it dawned on my cousin that, oh yeah, my older sister, I see where she's coming from. And then she comes back to school, right? We never used to stay in the same house, not at the time anyway, because it was a time when we used to live in the same household, my cousin and I. She comes back the next day, goes Kolong, and she's like, guys, I have a secret to tell you. Belinda Umaga, she's lying to us. She's lying because my sister said this and that and that and that. And when my cousin was telling all of us, we just stood there and we were like, oh my goodness, it makes sense. Oh my goodness, it makes sense. Oh my goodness. So this whole, yeah. Ultimately, we confront Belinda for lying. And Belinda, when we confront her for lying, what does she do? What that which liars always do when they get busted? She just cried. She cried, but the lying stopped from that day. She stopped lying to us about where she comes from. Mind you, Belinda was coming to school every single day, clean like all of us, smelling fresh like all of us, like Vaseline, hair combed like all of us, and yet she was apparently coming from a jail cell. School uniform, neat and everything. Not even a single hair out of place, but we were listening to Belinda and her very many stories. That was literally her name. I am using her name because I don't think she would ever know that I'm talking about her. Anyway, whatever. So, story sa Belinda, about 2-3 nights ago, the Lord gives me a word of knowledge telling me that these people think you're Belinda. And I immediately knew what God was talking about. I remember that there was this little girl in school that we were friends with that lied to us, tall tales telling us about how it is that she was once upon a time even sleeping in a jail cell with her older sister that's been arrested after her grandmother died. Her lies were told, they were clearly lies. And they were provably lies. And anybody with a better ear would recognize they were lies, but she was deceiving who? Little children. And God was was telling me that people listen to my testimony, and some of them are telling themselves that this is a lie. There's no way that what I've gone through it. And it's all based on exactly what it is that Belinda was back then. She was this young girl that came to school looking fresh, clean, neat, like all of us. Her socks were white, like all of us. But she was talking about living this much harder life than what it is that her outward appearance revealed. And many of us were gullible enough to believe her until some other older person highlighted that this is a lie. And God was like, there are people who thoroughly think that you rock up here on your channel every single day and you speak tall tales, you lie because you are chugging, because you are trying to win for yourself some kind of, like, you're trying to basically creating a story. And I was like, yo, God, if people think I'm lying, I mean, what in the world can I do? Because bottom line is this, people who know me from the past, people who did this to me know this is true. So too does my family know that this is true. So too do most of my subscribers that have been with me from the very beginning. They know it's true because they've seen me go through it. But it's the ones that are happening upon me as in day before yesterday that are saying that I'm lying. So I told myself that it doesn't really matter because the new people, they don't know anything at all. But then today the Lord opened up my eyes to realize that the reason why they think this kawena is because black people, they don't look like they're suffering when they're suffering. And there is a problem, an epidemic in the black community of sabotaging people based on people believing they'll bounce back because they look like they will. And because of people underestimating the background of people, because of underestimating they easily sabotage until people's lives are so destroyed that they're barely recognizable. And then only they hold their hands on some I didn't know that Karabo was going through so much, except the thing is, in the sight of God, whether or not Karabo had a silver spoon in her mouth, whether or not Karabo was a spoiled brat from Fantuka, was irrelevant. Nobody, not even Richie Rich, the rich kid that is spoiled, deserves to have the rug pulled from under their feet. What is wrong is wrong is wrong. The Lord wanted me to highlight to Batwabanso, you literally sabotage each other's lives based on assumptions that there's no way that certain people who look a particular way have ever suffered. And that some of y'all that endure fellow blacks through what is that you endure them through have ama history nani where you come from hardship, nani you come from mikuku. Lelona babang letswa dikotlolong mo le tlhapela teng. Lelona babang no ro ho jwang ro bala ko taxing for 4 days in a row because that's all that your dad had until such time that while he hustles and grinds in these streets to try and find you guys a new home. You have been through hardships that are unfathomable to most. They can't even understand how you are a miracle. You are admired by everyone you tell your life story because your dog, you broke out, you got out, you are not a victim of your circumstance. O survivile ntho it's ailing like a tsunami mme wa hao leng tatwa le ba but ba hao kaofela ba kwentswe ke tsunami e wena we escaping. You are a soul survivor and they congratulate you. Batho ba go congratulate, ba go rata, ba go thorisetsa taba ya gore, they praise you for taba ya gore utswile mo situationing a lot of black people just don't come out of. How qeta mo obolong ka motho o leng similar to wena in some respect, obo mo khutliza morago mo wena o tswang teng. How qeta mo be le tlo expect our black economic empowerment is e blome e le statue in where the position that it's at. Ntse le busy le votela di leaders tse tswileng tseleng tse nang le a whole bunch of racist rubbish sentiment in their hearts, like bo Julius Malema ba batla go lonka farmland ya mago. When black people are busy destroying themselves like this, they can't even in and of themselves help one another. Balo qala their own plot of land, balo rega something called the Cape Wine Fields, balo aga di tamati kote. You can't do that because you are selfish and greedy within your silos. You want to grow lele bang lele nosi only one nje fela batla ba abuti only one o tswang out of that grain ka fela le khudle mikukhung o na le siblings 7 and then you want to be the only one onzo le busy o ba betchetsa ka di 100 rand onzo le busy onzo fa o butwa gago o nang le 27 500 rand every so often tshwantse wena batho ba lo kokota go monyakong wa hao ba lo kopa go ba thuse go ntsha koloi ya bona ko what do they call this, like where they impound cars because ba motho wile motho a teng before ba lo scrapa koloi ya gage for parts o tshwantse go tluwe ko wena because motho a teng e hana stable salary wa zama wa phanda mara wena o project manager ka fela e fofang tjeka ngonyane in corporate South Africa, and then obo complain now wait, my brothers are always coming to me maskanto o ba loile ka fela horlo fika mo fitleng teng. That's what I am talking about in the black community. The level of inequality in families is ridiculous. South Africa is the most unequal country in the world. In that Otlakra deep slot blomile right next to Malda's Drift. One gimme kuku ka mo ki dimensions eding zamhlaba. And inside families go jwalo as well, where you will find one little tycoon. Motoi one ki CEO. U CEO jwang of company go fela e felletse. Hona le bana ba matriki go ba belonging to abutwa hao. Ba sa kgone go kry di call center job ke go company where you are a CEO. He batong nepotism, it is literally relative. Black people haba tusane. Like yo, and you feel as if the limit, there is a height. There is a limit to which you will help a black person along. Insofar as they remain underneath you, ba suffocate and just feel like a grain of nothingness. They're just merely getting through the day. Insofar as that's what's going on, right? So le batla holo keep taba tobacco henu the administrators while you fly on a professional track. But as soon as they start to in and of themselves walk in management, you like, I sorry, oboba latela sangoma ka fela efeletse ya ko besta Pimville. Owola ba latela sangoma ya ko your hometown, because when I was happy about ko Bryanston o feel nkare ke dinopo, so oboya ko Pimville. That's you. That's black people. You are ridiculous, like in the worst way. You are ridiculous. Some of y'all, you are the only ones but successful kumahen. Kanjani dog. How in the world are you the only person onang dem sebitsi o etsang sense ko hen? O jwang, how in the world are you a senior manager? Mara o swa gago o rekisa diaparo door to door, unable to come up for air. Such things happen in the black community. If anything, there's a phenomenon of that nature that I saw in this movie in a actor Gail Mabalan. Lady Dineo, I forgot Dineo's surname. Okay, Dineo in that show where it is that Gail is this like poor woman married to a poor guy in prison. Kumukani wako generation. You get my point. She is poor. She is struggling. She does not know whether she's coming or going, and her younger sister or older, I stand corrected as to who between the two of them is younger in the show. I think Dineo is younger or older, I don't know, whatever. Mara Dineo kimuhumi wankutwa kitcheni ele ya Khobale Island in the center. Also tenye udula ko mukukung osa kgone go patala rent na husband gage is in prison or somewhere in the woodworks. Nobody understands what's going on there. Have you seen my husband? Have you seen my husband? Do you know how she likes saying that in that show? They actually did a joke about it over the festive season. Yeah, with Kaboloi actually being around in that particular advert. It was quite funny. Anyway, whatever. Gail in that show, in that movie, it's series, whatever you want to call it. Hey, have you seen it's a movie, I stand corrected. Have you seen, she becomes this like murderous psychopath type thing. But how in the world she even gets to a point of being a murderous psychopath is because of abandonment by other black people. How is your sister living in all that opulence and can't help you pay rent, can't get you out from the grain you're at, pull strings with munading to get you a better job? How in the world is your sister Muhumi living in a mansion while you are busy ironing the hempe tsa family engwe? You are a domestic worker. Udla obalega. You have been put in harm's way precisely because of the Bako are prepared to have one be a middle class, upper middle class person while Omungo is at the dregs of society. Like that's just black people for you. It's ridiculous. You will literally find in the same family, immediate, never mind extended, Moto Wanike executive Omungo unemployed. Kanjan. La Singetana, you are full of sabotage. Is that basic? And sometimes people break out of the mold of black and then you take them back to nothingness. There is this movie that I watched on Netflix called Biohackers. And in the movie, there is this one woman who owns this big fat laboratory. She's this hotshot scientist that everybody loves. She loses everything because of a scandalous, like, biohacking, unethical experiment that she does, and has to move back to her mother's house. And when she's busy fighting her lawsuit, she is back to her mother's house, sleeping in the bedroom that was hers as a child growing up. And there are all these mother's house paraphernalia in the back, like the trophies. What's that? The trophies when she was growing up, like just the, you know, what your childhood bedroom looks like, versus the house that you grew. She was like a whole millionaire and had this big, beautiful, spacious house. And then she moved back to her mother's house, and every time she would have a teleconference, every time she would have a video call with her attorney, she would put up a sheet at the back, a gray, just to make sure, you know, all that in the background. That's what I do. And even though that woman was not innocent in the show, I could relate with her cause. How it is that when you're living in your mother's house and you've got this background also writing, but you want to look professional to people because you want them to take you seriously, you put something up. And yet black people, despite me putting stuff up, and you can tell I've put stuff up to conceal a strange environment that I might, I guess, conceal the actual squalor that I'm coming in, you still have the brazen audacity to accuse me of lying about my testimony. The story of Pablo Escobar, if you've seen Narcos, the whole phenomenon of what Pablo Escobar did in Colombia is called magical realism. Magical realism. What is magical realism? It's when something is just so taboo and fantastically impossible, however real, that it's impossible, that people literally do not believe it unless they were shown the evidence. Unless you were there to spot it happen, you would not believe it. Like, you gotta see it to believe it, because it's literally that bizarre. My case is like magical realism. The thing that has happened to me is impossible to believe unless you have the evidence, and that is why I've been sitting here in front of you for years, recording my life, that you might see that I'm not lying. I've got literally, I'm not lying to you, as at last time I checked, I was sitting on 5.17k, like 5.17k, so 5,017, yeah, 5,117 or something videos on YouTube as at last time. And yet I'm sitting, as at present, 886 subscribers. Out of those 5,000 videos are hundreds, if not thousands, of shorts, some of whom are sitting on 0 views. And if you go inside any of my shorts, either way back or just recently, you will see the quality of that work. And yet I don't get viewed. I have recently just gotten frozen again on YouTube. I grew just in the past 2 weeks. The past week, I grew, my largest channel grew almost 200 subscribers in 1 week. It's like something happened and I broke through. And now I am sitting on 0 views again. Nobody is listening to my shorts. I'm back to where I was at. Do you seriously think that there is a person sitting on YouTube busy pressing a button every time I move in the right direction? No. This is sorcery. This is magical realism. This is something so unreal and so bizarre that unless you were shown the proof, you wouldn't believe me. How do I go from skyrocketing, growing 200 subscribers in 1 week on one channel, to the next day, for literally within 24 hours, it's dead frozen, tumbleweed just rolling around? I told you guys that YouTube has left me alone, or at least they've maintained a shadow banned state on my person, but not like before. The reason why I suddenly grew is because YouTube, to a certain extent, repented. I am no longer under attack by YouTube. I'm not. This here is not just sorcery on its own. And if you want to call me a liar for all of these lofty stories I tell, only go look at my channel. It's magical realism. The story of Pablo Escobar would never be believed unless they were documented, unless the whole thing was documented voraciously to show you that this actually happened. This guy, his whole thing was bizarre, but it actually did happen. It did happen. It was shocking, but it happened. The level of influence he had over in Colombia, how elusive he was to the police, the empire he built. He was frankly like Houdini. He kept just disappearing. You would think he was a movie character in a sci-fi space, science fiction. The way it was just so unreal, but it was real. And we know it was real because we've got the data to try to back it up. Well, this here is magical realism. I have got evidence. I have got evidence. First and foremost, I had All those years that I garnered for myself of experience in corporate South Africa. And one day overnight, all of my colleagues just made a decision in groupthink to get rid of me. And then having exculpatory evidence in like a chunky dossier in favor of my case, have all that ignored by the CCMA and Labour Court, despite it being clear that I was innocent. When I went to appeal, the guy at the appeals desk at the CCMA looked at my case and was like, what? You lost your case? So you better take this up to the Labour Court utowin. I was told by a person working at the CCMA that somebody paid the person that voted against my case. And when I went to the Labour Court, I lost. It was ignored entirely. At the, what do they call this? There is some body in this country, legal aid board. At the legal aid board, which is basically there for people who are unemployed. If you don't have money but you need legal assistance, you can go to them. If you want to get a divorce as a poverty-stricken shack dweller, you go to the legal aid board. If you want to basically raise a case, something that is some injustice done against you, you can get a lawyer there. It's like the public defender office in the US, if you want to call it that. Yeah, type setup thing, like literally exactly like that. I went to the legal aid board and my case was completely ignored. I went back again. I called them and they told me we'll get back to you. Didn't. I went back physically in my body and they were like, oh, we're busy, we'll get back to you. Dead. Magical realism. Like, you know, when things are being manipulated spiritually to make stuff disappear, and yet you are a nobody. You are absolutely nobody. You're just some chick, a bleep in the radar, largely ignorable. If anything, you could just be a speck of dust, and yet you strangely get ignored. Spiritual manipulation of people's lives, and it is a sorrowful, cantankerous problem in the country. People awarding themselves benefits, the luck of other people. Not luck, I don't like the word luck, but I guess that's what they call it in the occult. Using the fortunes of other people. They go and they grab a person's right standing in the world, and they completely just evacuate the ground from underneath that person that they might sink while they rise. And this is happening in the black community. Kaboloi, from here to Timbuktu, that is provable with just my channel. How does a woman have 5,117 videos on YouTube on one channel, my biggest one, and yet have only 800 and something subscribers? And even then, sometimes she can go for literally 3 months without even gaining 1 subscriber. She can go an entire year just gaining 5 subscribers. No one uploads as much as I do on YouTube, not even one person, and gains only 5 subscribers over a 5-month period. No one. Not even the most boring rando uploading random rubbish grows that slowly, especially when they upload a whole bunch of shorts. And I'm not any random boring person. I am not only a gospel servant, but I'm very smart. Never mind being smart, I'm catchy, I'm intriguing, and I reach points. I hit nails in the coffin. I am strangely ignored. But black people are out just saying of me that I'm lying about my story. Why am I lying? Because I'm pretty. Oh really? Why am I lying? Because my skin is popping. Why am I lying? Because nobody goes through what you're going through, Karabo, and looks this good. I dare you when I jabu. I dare you when I lerato pinky mina. I dare you when I pita. I dare you when I sbusiso. Lirinelwe. To essentially parch yourself for 5 days. Oska no metsi. Oska jadijo. Hebaton, waiting tapo. Kupa oska no metsi. Oska jadijo for 5 days, gaufel. As a black person, we kurmaze in your apartment. But what you must keep doing though is taking a shower every day. What you must keep doing though is tasaring your face ka Vaseline. What you must keep doing though is tasaring your hair ka hair food. What you must keep doing though is roll on deodorant spray, brush your teeth. Basically do the things that people do every single day. So essentially you must be weak, you must be emaciated, you must be starving, you must be practically on your way out, you must be dying. And then I'll cut off the unka shower thing. Obo apara your best shirt. Obo apara your best ngaza. Obo apara kicken boboza ya gago le kousu ya hao. Eskon. Ebe olo chakelwa. Somebody must come knocking ko monyakong wa hao to come and have tea. And that's what you're going to be using to break fast ya gago ya 5 days. And then tell me what the opinion of Mutoko Chaketing is about how you look. Now, freaking black people, I dare you to do that. Come on. Experiment on yourselves. Don't eat for 5 days and don't drink for 5 days. Like be exhausted, maybe like, you know, struggle to basically keep your eyes open because your body is so weak. That's what's good. Walk around, you know, maybe with your eyes a little bit squinted, kind of like some days I come here and I'm yawning and what have you, because all of these demons, all up in my grill. Only weak like that, Mara. Like I said, you have, according to God's word, how faster you must anoint your head with oil. So anoint your head with oil. I'm not saying here food. Ele dark and lovely. We la take off we tlobetse motlhogong. O lay the edges wa apare weak how. Ha ba no chicken chicken. Wa apare hempe ga go e crispy e inilweng. Wa apare ke le stofinyana ga sa gago sa skete sa mini cause o rata manto a teng. O rata yo biena, you think you've got beautiful legs. Wa apare all that. Obo tlo mema somebody. Hore a tlenje fela a tlo go tlhola go ntlo. A tlo go bona. And tell me what that person is whether or not the first thing they're gonna say out of their mouths is, yo girl, alright? Hey Jabu, grand Joe, oh sharp, nota, oh sharp. Yo. What's with your eyes, dog? Nah. If you've lost weight from not eating for those 5 days, your friend will probably be like, girl, what's the secret? Tell me. Lose weight. Wait till lose. Famished. She's dying. She's literally dying. If she does not eat now, she's literally going to end up in the hospital passing away. She's going to need to have some electrolytes invested into her body. Dehydrated, mara is it going to show? Black people are bonagal. I lose weight, but to bar uslimile girl o etsang. Le nna ke batla o tseba ke Hebex. Ntwe etsa sahlela mafuta. Is that what that is? Akasina hano o stressed. Motho akase, they won't jump to conclusion yokuthi yo Karabo o lositse 5 kilo jo. Wait ke worried. Nah, it's gonna be, girl, give me the secret. What are you doing? Is it a vegetable diet? Ke le ya cabbage ne? Yeah, le nna sekile ka lose 5k ka 3 days ke ne le impressed hampe. If you lose weight ka speed in the black community just because of how anointed your head is ka mafura. Because you don't look sick, you automatically are assumed as one that's on a diet. And congra girl, congra o lositse o slimile ha monate ibilaneng bona boga te kaofela se ya feta mo ezing ha isa shapa leka bad crack nyana e gotlhazang ke proud o mfe ingredient ya cabbage soup ya gago. That's the black community akbona guys. So of course latel let's rian. Of course you are severely disrespectful. Of course you are full of nonsense rubbish. Of course you are that gangster. Of course utsubile matekwane. Of course high on the supply of Satane. Of course motho wa nya upele flaga. Of course motho wa go inhaler. The methylated spirits obe high. What letawe batho ba bantsho letawe. Ha re bolawe in physical appearance. Ke tshotlego. Re dula mekhukhung re tlhapela dikotlolong. Re ja dikota fela. No nutrients in our system. Ha gona green. 7 colors o ka elora because ha gona dijo ko hen. O dula ntse le busy o ja di slab chips le kokota nje fela like mashed potato slab chips le borotho in one sitting. Starch se kana o ka se bor grand chap o tlotsang ka sona. The only thing they're ailing fruit ke acha. O tloja like that for 10 years ka ofela. And ana motho tlo tsebang gore grand chap ha o thole 7 colors ya hao. Ha ana motho tlo bona gore na le iron deficiency. Ha ana motho tlo bona gore you are struggling with some kind of malnutrition because your skin has given you the benefit of looking good when you're suffering, coupled with the fact that you know how to deal with suffering. Khali tuto like nonsense. The domestic worker, yes, like it. Oka se tsebe motho gore ke domestic worker. Ha a tsamaya mo strateng. Oka se mmone. Our domestic worker, the one that used to clean, she's gone now because I guess I can I would only see her and sometimes I would drop her off go taxi and I would be shocked at just what a completely different human being she looked like. The overalling clean. She just looked like Osinje fela. O gareng how you doing girl? Go in. Can take it the way you would speak to a domestic worker. Hi OC okay Marana pero outfit ka girl. Agbonagal when you're in a low income job agbonagal. Difference between a low income employee and a high income agbonagal is so mina I've got this phenomenon, this issue. Allow me to tell you let me tell you ke rabazwa keng ka bana batho ba bantsho nna ke batla utswa molona a ke sa spaya skele msalona grand shop gale ke tsule molona amatoda wa bantu bamnyama. They click on my YouTube channel ngimhlekabi. Please let's just not deny that ke ntswembu ke mopila ke le dark dindi le leng la high sale la nkutla. So because I'm beautiful, guys every so often be crushing on a sister. Oh, she's so pretty, she's so cute. What's going on? In other words, you see me for the first time when I'm like, hi guys, how you doing? It's Karabo. I'm cranky. I hope you're good. I hope you're peachy. I hope you're stellar. I hope you're in a neat little bunch. You also listen to my twang, my English accent, hakibu. And you're like, yo, cherry, yakas. And then, Mamela, right? They then notice my subscriber numbers. Oh, goodness. So in other words, wabona domestic worker in me now. So if first get girl, when they first see my channel, they be thinking girl. And then when they see the rest of when they see my one video, they be thinking get girl. And then when they go into my channel, because they think I'm pretty, they then see uguti yo, I say girl. Moto has been uploading videos every single day and there's no views. And all these shorts say 27,000 and there's no views. Top of that, she keeps on talking about how she's suffering. So I basically go from being girl. Hey girl, how you doing? To, hi OC, okay. Alright. Oh, so now I go to from being on some new girl. So what product do you recommend for me to buy for my skin? What do you go to skin? You go from being that to, can I hire you for a piece job? Can you please make sure that when I leave LAN, you have cleaned the kitchen counters, because the other day I noticed you missed a spot. Happy. Kupa unse nama ya chicken, make sure my wife ha khutla o tlo khona go phega chicken. And then next week kupa ofika just 1 hour early because there's something that I want to do, but I'll give you extra pay for that. Yeah, I go from being hey girl what's up to something they feel they can just send around. So the amount of ikorobela that I have been endured under by guys who initially would never have even thought I was feasible for them, who then discovered is astronomical. Guys, men banang HIV bakula. They've got kids out here in the streets about 20,000. They've got 7 ex-wives. But their stats are whack. Get left over. Get left over. Get kokota acha. Let's up. They are moving on. And then they expect me to scrape at the bottom of the pot to take them. Why? Because Baba no all of a sudden they think I'm their size. First and foremost, the guys baling, like, you know, these guys who corporate South Africa and whatnot, they see me, they're like, oh, she's so pretty, she's cute, and then they see my poverty and they're like, she's not in my league. Langtella. And the day's gonna come when you regret acting that gangster fool all up in my grill. When I was kicking Boboza that I used to work with in projects once upon a time go MTN, now sekele basically the lady that you tell Kupa, oh, make sure or that spot because last week you missed it. That's the one type of guy. And then there's the guys from skyscrapers. School uniform. Hello nice, my sister, my hello nice, baba tlo borang bashala everything efetang. So I've got this like issue, I'm misplaced lankutla ke na le problem ya go shelwa ke banna ba sang tshwaneleng. And then the guys that would have wanted me high and low and like literally fell over breaking their teeth trying to pursue me back in the day now see me as a prospect for being domestic with Kayabon. And as soon as if I were to break through and my channel were to grow and I were to get to where I would get some of these random vagrants all over the show that would have walked right by me because Hana next bona channel ya gage ena le subscribers 200 aka fitla a setsa batla Jwanong go lo collaborator le nna because le bona le YouTube channel like a proper. There's a YouTuber, a South African one that the Lord showed me once happened upon my channel and clicked on it because the topic was interesting. Mamela the whole thing. Y'all know I've got these laborious videos. Say last time ura sometimes go fela if let's or ura and a half. I can speak. Lo mutlo na walalela yonke I video yam yonke go fela from the beginning to the end. That's how catchy I was. But just based on my subscriber numbers and the fact that he was maybe like viewer number 3 in that whole entire video set, what decided ugungi underestimate that the same guy. If I were to get all of a sudden 50,000 subscribers, if I were to get to that number, I would not be surprised if that bugger were to write me an email on some, hey, would you like to collaborate? I can see you're from South Africa and you speak on the things of God. I've subscribed to your channel, like good looking out. We all need to be soldiers in Christ. Amen. Yeah, it would be great if you and I could do a video together. Do you mind? All of a sudden being out here contacted by South African YouTubers that are big, trying to do a video with me when they would have known me can I live 400 subscribers, when they would have listened to all of my videos, when I had just 250 subscribers on one of my channels, like proper one big, like at the time when this guy watched my videos, the Lord showed me he had 80,000 subscribers at the time. His channel was at 80,000 subscribers. He's had a history of losing everything there, now starting from scratch, having to get out from he lost a YouTube channel. It got destroyed. I don't know what happened, but he lost a YouTube channel one time because of what I do not know. It was hacked. I think he was hacked. It was before the time of being stricken and next thing your channel disappears and whatnot. He was hacked and he had to go ayosebenza at like a grocery store, like a Pick and Pay. So he was underestimated at the time. I one of the guys that was, you know, shelving, putting stock on the shelves at Pick and Pay. And he also had to move back to his mom's house, which was another problem. Well, he had his own apartment and everything. And then he went back to his mother's house and he was working an underestimated low income retail job. But he made a decision to basically do what I'm doing. Are you listening to me? Even though he was coming from his bedroom that he grew up in as a kid, it still has all of his posters on the walls when he was a teenager, but he's a man in his 20s now. And he is sitting in his mother's house in his bedroom, and he makes a decision to remove those posters, motorbikes and whatnot off his wall, and then puts up a sheet or something that just a plain background, and then started recording videos again while going to his Pick and Pay job every day on YouTube. And he grew hanyane until he got to 80,000 subscribers high. Today bale studio se impressive from which he is recording in obviously what looks like his apartment. He's gotten out of his mother's house. His mother had faith in him, helped him along, whatever it is that he would be helped with and whatnot. Wakula lomuntu from those humble beginnings, having started from zero, not an ash. After losing another YouTube channel, he lost a livelihood. Wa record from background so, and he happened upon my channel, and the Lord showed me he watched one of my videos yonke iphelele awa kaofela e borang. That speaks of interest in a topic, but because yena uzibona as a celebrity, and I had a dream of him actually passing me shade, dissing my English speaking accent. Okay, abuti, alright, that's mo states ke dumela lwena. Then nothing. Same guy. I would not be surprised if I suddenly hit 50,000 subscribers, maybe even 30,000 subscribers. And then all of a sudden he's like, hi, Kravs, my name is Jwanong. Let's say his name is John. My name is Jwanong, and I've seen your channel, and it's very interesting. It's very intriguing. It would be really great if I could, would you mind collaborating with me on the things of God? I really like your channel. I'm a sub blah blah, all that jazz. I would not be surprised if that dude did that. But that's just the kind of thing that South Africans are. That's just the kind of thing that black people are. You ignore people that have got the same value set as you. But one taxi Mazda. Mara Mazding is going to act like taxing stank until Araka Mazda. Then only you think you can talk to him. The Lord warned me about that guy because I imagine the Lord anticipates a future where he's going to try and contact me to do a video. He's not operating like a kingdom citizen, but he's operating like a typical black person. You don't want other black people to grow. You don't want them to be okay. You kick them out. You act a strange fool. You're like anomalous beasts, black people. So all these random outies, like no man's business, domestic worker ya bona ba filang ka re nje fela ke ha ba kang fa feather duster ke taba right ba filang ka re ha ba kang fa vacuum cleaner ya code e telle fela hore ke ska nonze ke tse ke plakolla vacuum cleaner mo ntlong every time I clean the room tsa bona ke tla ba satisfied. Like when that's what you get asked for. Like when a person prides themselves in coming home with a vacuum cleaner that has got like a 7-meter long cord, and that's what you must be proud of because you are a domestic worker. Like proper. Vacuum cleaner ya cord 10 meters on same o tlo e rata jwang Karabo en o tlo e rata jwang cause Karabo ke domestic worker ya hao. When you reduce a person to that kind of stuff, and then you come to them and you actually expect them to be proud of the fact that you bought a 10-meter vacuum cleaner because oh my, it's gonna make my cleaning so much easier. All you will do is offend the living daylights out of them. Guys, the future is looking very bleak for black South African men where I'm concerned. And your hearts are going to be broken in the worst way. When some other man marries me, it's going to be so sad for you because you will have found me beautiful. You will have found me intriguing and all these random things. That's what's good. Oh, some of them, listen. Oh, guys, yes. Oh, South Africa, listen. Not only are these ones Babadi Kick and Boboza square alongside being a kick and Boboza from corporate South Africa, alongside them thinking domestic work all I need is a feather duster. Alright. There's also those who find me intriguing. I think I'm nice and mellifluous when I speak. Yeah, Mara, in the way that Cherry officing and man, you would love to hit that. I used to have this licentious boss. Back in the day, there was this one beautiful girl that started working at MTN. And I remember when she walked past, he was like, oh, kitty type in Jeffela, it's a hospatiso. I'll come fagamavati, oh, fetega no mufure, the kind of woman Jeffela to put a baby bump in. Like he spoke like that about her. He was a married man. He did not say she's the kind of woman to be married and treated well and whatnot. She's so beautiful. He just fetishized her so much and lusted so much after her that he could not help but imagine just hitting a home run with putting a baby in her stomach because she looks like the kind of woman to carry a baby well. There are men who look at me like that. It would be beautiful, and that's it. Like the kind of licentious lustfulness in men that make them look at a particular kind of woman as if only I could just see her pregnant with my child. Like entirely, and he's not even trying, like proper. Banna, I am being looked at by men who are married that would never leave their wives, and not that I would ever expect them to, but their fantasies about me are along the lines of, she looks like a nice lifetime side piece that I could just put babies in and she would just be all mine. But I ain't got no time to be permanizing a woman. From like, you know, when you meet a beautiful woman that however is poor, and so because she's poor and her stats don't add up, her stats don't match to yours, she doesn't have your degree, she doesn't come from your affluent family, she does not, you know what I mean, she does not have your level, your same level of whatever. Ufilangati uzo downgrader if at all you brought her to your boys and your family as your new lady. You feel like she's got plazy vibes. That's what's good. Kibo plazy nyana. And now battle plazy chico batla a cherry or ebenize the obanang Josie Maboneng. Mara yo umupila. She's beautiful and she looks like she's childbearing and all fertile and all that jazz. So then you literally make a plan for a woman to make her, listen to this, a lifetime mistress. Like the kind of woman to be out here giving a man a whole bunch of babies from the age of 25, even though she's young and viable to be married to her own husband. She out here being from 25 to 35, the mistress of some guy, giving him 4 kids, living a double life and taking it in her stride, because when I met this man, I was living in a shack, I was struggling, I was suffering, and ever since him, I've got a beautiful house now, so I can't complain. So she literally goes and grabs the day after Christmas, the 26th of December, instead of Christmas Day, because she knows that as a mistress, a side piece, and number 2, she must just take in her stride that this man is gonna have to be with his main family on Christmas. Type of disaster that when a man passes away, everybody be at you finding out that he's got 7 other kids by some other women. I'm being looked at like that by some of these creeps on the internet. And Kibatoba South Africa, that's why men who all have got these double lives but clandestine, and so from men that think that I can become a lifetime mistress because men who think they can induct me into the occult, men who also think, oh, if I could just buy her a vacuum cleaner that's got a 10-meter cord, she would be really happy to clean my house, because they thoroughly think they can make me the little domestic goddess, a servant of sorts, like a little bit of a Cleopatra, while they're Anthony, like go on right ahead to deify a woman, or worse, and the ones that feel like they want to marry me are the poor guys, the ones the ones the ones that have got 10 different baby mamas across 10 different states, the ones that are divorced, HIV, the ones basically that, like I said, at the bottom of a pot. And they expect me guys that no other girl in the community is trying to look at, because onale baggage heavy from long ago because reputation die random bogat Jewish in the streets and expect to be respected. The guy from American Alijwal, twice divorced, with some other guy while married to him, but he was in jail at the time. A whole criminal, never ever got his life back together again, and and then he rocked up Lana and tried to marry Umfazi that is fresh out of the box, like fresh out of the box. The box might be a little dusty on the outside because nobody's been picking it up off the shelf, but if you open that box, you're gonna deal with a brand spanking new doll. And this guy wanted to go and grab a brand spanking new doll with grubby hands, mud all over the show. Wanted to go and grab that, despite the fact that you're not going to. And because I accommodated him for all of 5 seconds until God was like, over my dead body, throw some kind of a lure into an ocean and have my daughter catch it as bait, and some lure as fish, like have my child just bite, because you decided to rock up and give her $500, like $600. Converted to rands, it bombs up and she thinks she's out being provided for. Get out of my child's life. Boom. Because the dollar never deposit into her account if she was still working. She's become insecure. She has been struggling for years. So because humiliation. And for the past 2 years, because he had me for 3 weeks, he has been trying to come back, and it's a pendulum between death spell and love spell, death spell, voodoo. Motukimo utseriane untang tela ka di voodoo sprays, and the voodoo nyana e ya gage e hard noko e intense e extreme. Gato hala ka yona. Why? Because he nearly dopat ka something of such high value as a grubby, dirty, filthy man. Oh, nanlingolaza noga motako wa kula lukula hana tap. What high and low. That's what I've been subjugated to the tyranny of. I'm a daughter. I'm daga, bottom of the barrel, dregs of society, bangifuna, because aguna munyo, umuntu obafuna yolamka kweni, plus I am 20 for the price of one, 10 for the price of one. I am something amazing, elahliwe njengidampiwe mina. And so for those reasons, bafila ingati bangathola icherentswembu, bona babolile, ngoba ngizomthola kuphi omunye, obamlahle kabuhlungu kanjena asasemusha. That's what I'm dealing with. And the ones that, like I said, were out here tripping up over a stone, breaking their teeth, trying to be with me back when we were all working, having these big, fat, chunky jobs in corporate South Africa. Now today they look at me like I stank. Now today they look at me like, batlonga kela vacuum cleaner ya cord ya 10 meters. Kito clean ntlo ya bona. Bangsheba nkare ke domestiki. And hababone any value in me. And some of them, just like that Baga YouTube channel from South Africa, once I grow, and I will, that's the point I'm getting to. Once I grow, and I will, it will be inevitable uto kokota momunyako ngwaka abatle go collaborate ka YouTube channel, and then nako moshapa ka mzimba omungwa mhlaba, because hamzalone boy, if you were born again, you would not have done that to me. You don't just collaborate with people on YouTube because they've got channels that have 50,000 subscribers, not as a Christian. That's what people in the world do with each other in order to grow each other's stats, because what's in it for me? Quid pro quo. That's what it is. The two of us, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. That's how the world works. But in the kingdom of heaven, you don't do that. Everybody is to be regarded as awesome in the sight of Christ. The least on earth are the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. And if you don't have that mindset, you're literally gonna watch a whole 1 hour video, go fella, that you are intrigued by, drawn into, and then diss the person speaking in that video for having a strange accent, and secondly, completely ignore a sister in Christ that is struggling, that has literally the same background as you. She's starting just like you. From the very bottom. And she's also out here boarding up stuff at the back so that her background looks slightly more decent than yesterday. South Africa accusing her of ubuwamaka. Avukhulumanga ngoba umuntu onjani omuhle kangaka, umuntu onjani o eloquent kangaka, umuntu onjani o healthy kangaka, osokolayo, except wena ha utsiriane ha kana ka ntho di buang o jile kota o shine mara o shine ke re lantso tshwere ke tlala cause motho montsho. Where have you ever seen a black person o tlobeditseng Vaseline that looks poor? Where ha re bonagale ga re tlhopegile. So why le tumpana ga botlhoko ga kana go corporate? Because vele motho ora a kene go officing a lo sebetsa tshwantsa lo tlhapa akere, tshwantsa a lo fitisa metsi akere, tshwantsa lo tlhapa ka sunlight e green e kima mo hara skotlolong before o lo kena go call center ko MTN. So whether or not motho o tlhapile ka shawara or go skotlolong or go mo hara pizza, they all look the same when they clock into the office at work on Monday. They all look the same. And you'll be out here bewitching people. You are bewitching people. You are bewitching people that shower because electricity bill. Mara okom sebeting o black girls the lip gloss. You can see it, it's like a reflection of the sun from like 2 meters away. Why would you think o poor? But that's just the thing. The cherry tsa batho ba bantsho le nna ke mo ke batla go itshasa ka lip gloss no. The cherry tsa nyana ba batho ba bantsho lip gloss la ntse phatsima like no man's business. Sometimes they are poor. There was a girl like that in my high school. Goodness gracious. This one beautiful girl, she was 1 grade lower than me. She went to my primary school and my high school. Beautiful. Her name was Mbali. Mera muhle che gezwa yo. Yes, like it. And then her friends were actually in grade 11 and grade 80. That's how forward she was. So little Nana says we were too young, even though she was younger than us by 1 year. This Mbali chick apparently, allegedly, she would get picked up by the boyfriends and whatnot to go partying and clubbing. And apparently when she would get returned home, when she would get home, she would wear inside Kaboloi a other boyfriend tuku I rap around le toulu, lesela, looking like you're a whole domestic servant and whatnot, and grab lifielo lagamontle akala go fila lebala to make it sound as if though to her grandmother, to make it sound as if apparently she used to live go for room mo no go sena a bathroom toilet ka montle that highly bosigo ke ka tswa go freezer girl o lo rotela ka montle go tlhapela go dikotlolong. This chick una kena my school, and the way nana montle ka teng skin was clear, and una dula ana le this shiny lip gloss. Une never girl wa nkutwa o tsebe gore o tlhopegile. You would never know. Una rata di bob, you remember Monica back in the day, in one of them days that a girl goes through, those bobs of Monica, ana tongile relaxed hair e ya gage a lwetsa bobo nyana e cute na rata o etsa di bobo tse jwalo that chick, and then di curls tsa gage ne dula di le fresh. Murahaye did not even look like she relax every week the way una dula sna growth ka teng wena on. And like I said, the curls tsa gage ne dula di fresh, ne di dula di le fresh. Chances are she did her own hair at home, and so every morning she would refresh her own curls. Chances are she relaxed her own hair at home. That's why it was always so fresh and never going out. She invested in her beauty, and lip gloss ya go ba cheap ya mtubolo. Ona never way bona mos fatlhegong. Cheriela was so beautiful that you would never think she was poor. The school uniform was always super neat, but that's the thing. Nkgono ba tolo reka uniform once a year. At the beginning of grade 8, everything, and she gotta take care of it. By herself ka weekend. Uniform fell up by the weekend. By herself go ka weekend. On top of bowl where she used to stay, but when she came to school, you would think she was a snob. My primary school, which was a mixed school, full of all different races, and then my high school too. So lena lana bua sekgowa ono go tswa twang mara batho ba ko ha bona mkgono le mme, whoever it is that was contributing to her education, made sure o thola the right education, and that she's awarded all the opportunities she needs. So they sacrificed a lot for her, and the environment that she was coming from was lowly. It was lowly. Mothola na tlhapela skotlolong every morning, mara no go sa bonagale. Di curls tsa gagwe tse fresh every morning, ne never di go bontshe. Umbali is an example of a black woman in corporate South Africa that you would bewitch because she is so pretty, only for you to send her back to forum, esnang bathroom, where she has to go and pika montle. I need a bathroom. Live in a small little squeezed house. I got her first apartment and its own full bathroom, and has been given all of these privileges now. And she's essentially broken out of a grain and no longer does Mbali have to live like that. Apartment of which, in what do you call this thing? That she gets her first one-bed apartment. For the first time, is like, I'm so proud. Bese yombuyisela endlini kagogo. Umuntu wakhona was planning of ukhipha nogogo wakhona ekwi-4 room or ukuakhela ugogo a bathroom in the house to extend. Those were her plans. Kodwa wena umbona nje antali busy hwam kakwaikwai in corporate South Africa, and out of jealousy you then go and you uproot i-career yomuntu that can't afford to lose it, because Grandshap, she is the hope of her family now. That's the stuff you guys do in the black community. Bese nizofuna uku-uproota i-black economic bese niyofuna uku-maintaina i-black economic empowerment because ni greedy. Understand ukuthi what's coming abantu abamnyama is civil war. Black people, there is about to be civil war, and it's going to rise up from the ground because of all these inefficiencies in the country that are caused by black economic empowerment. Thanks to black economic empowerment, lots of people belonging to other races, especially white folk, can't do or be in the places they need to be in society to actually truly change it. Whatever ideas they have, they're sidelined in favor of black people. And when black people are this defeatist, it means the country can't heal. Even from the load shedding crisis, the country can't heal. Even from bad leadership, the country can't heal. From bad maintenance of national infrastructure, the country cannot heal. From its economic slump, the country can't, etc. And South Africans ought to contribute to the embitterment of South Africa. And when black people keep on being given opportunities, however sadly, with them shooting themselves in the foot when awarded these opportunities, because they keep on bewitching everybody into oblivion, ultimately everybody else is going to rise up, and the war is going to be so bloody, and it's going to also bring up past hurts. It's going to bring back racism, if not already having done it, because of your defeatism. But that whole civil war will have happened, black folk, because people will have sat and said nothing for a very long amount of time, stewing and brewing on it in their juices in a corner until they eventually popped a top. And when people pop a top, that's when they stop being careful with words. That's when they stop being politically correct. That's when they stop trying to be cordial in conversations. That is when they start to call a spade a spade. And black people, you are 5 seconds away from basically being told, shut up, I don't care that you went through apartheid South Africa, because frankly, I'm only 23. I wasn't even born when all that stuff happened. It's going to happen. Like, y'all need to understand, black folk, your defeatism is going to uproot the pampered position you are presently in, where in your entitled state, however, having not earned any respect at all, you are literally shattering the country. You are breaking it from within, going outward, and you are messing up with black opportunities, lingering therefore well into the uncomfortable future, black economic empowerment, because it looks as if though the rug is maintained as having been pulled underneath our feet when we are the ones that went on right ahead and tripped ourselves up. Black folk are the ones that took away my economic empowerment. Look at me be all impoverished, going nowhere, and now my channel is frozen again. My heart is broken, my channels are all frozen again. Why? Because of black witchcraft. Niqalile lonke lento again. Umuntu aninandaba noma aza from poverty, it appears aninandaba as long as umuntu aphathi manje ashina abenya ka Vaseline, for as long as umuntu still is able uku-apply i-sunscreen, for as long as umuntu asasemuhle, even though nazi kahle nje ukuthi black does not crack, anizingeni ukuthi indaba zokuthi lo muntu abe right, anizingeni you pull rice from underneath the feet of people who can't afford to lose anything. Le bolayela bombalidi bekamoso bana ba batho ba batla go lo agela mme wa bo king nkgono bathroom ha le tsebe. You don't ask, you just bewitch. Ha le botse, you just bewitch. I paid for my own fees. I took myself through school. I grinded. I worked like a dog. Bese mina nginamsebenzi. Kaze mina ngibhatelele ama fees wase-Wits nje mahala. You know how expensive it is over there. Mahala nje fela, I did all that. I dreamed for Jack. Ngoba it appears apparently allegedly ukuthi for as long as somebody makes a decision ukuthi Karabo, you don't get to smile all up in my grill ka bommatsatsa ba gago. E seng pelaka girl. O ka se tlo feta mo ka kwa ya gago e durang. O tlo mbora. Ka perfume ya gago e durang. O tlo mbora. O tlo e reka e cheap ya go breed taxi rank. O tlo palama taxi via girl. Lantse o tswile long ago. 2 series o sebetsa, you're going to use it again. You're going to use your feet again. O tlo walk away thinking you are going to do the great trek. O tlo tsa triathlon the way o tlo exercise ka teng just to catch a taxi going forward in the future, just to get from A to B. O jima via. Nkare wena go high school na 17. You're going to do it again. That's black people for you. I keep getting these dreams. One dream in particular I had of one of my former friends from high school. Olwele schemes kaofela bathong hechegel. Olwele scheme kaofela in one sitting. O risitse kaofela go disangomeng re le 7 ko skolong in high school. Olwele scheme ke re kaofela. All my friends from high school put witchcraft on me, but all my friends from high school did not put witchcraft on each other. Baloile other people like Gotloba scattered all across the streets, but this chick wanted to be the most successful one out of all of us. She wanted to be the most successful one. Aloya scheme kaofela bathong. Cheria inkile academics AZ6. Wati, all of y'all guys, I don't care ukuthi ngiyenza la emgaqweni, but you're not going to be better than nna. Aloloya scheme kaofela. No matter what happens in this world, she will be number 1. And mabane ke molorile anzali busy I check mo pela ka stotla sel bathong ka ezinyana ya noga again. This chick, like, you don't understand. I like in my dream ne ke mo monela, ne ke mo galla, ke galla career ya gagwe, ke galla everything. Kodwa in waking life lo muntu mega blend, mega bora, nothing of her make kaza grand sharp sonke mensimshaya. Chere I ke tsebore kenye what was the thing that she was trying to pick ne scheme sonke. Kodwa nala muntu laba, they don't deserve protection because ka fela baloy. Mara olwele ke riskimi kaofela, except one among them. O file bophelo ba gagwe go Jesu Kriste, ebe modimo a mo fa prophetic gifting. Jwanong ke bona all this nonsense. Jaka ga cheka ezinyana ya gagwe e snacks ya noga mo pelaka. A ke tsebo expecta wa achievang, mara mo torong ne ke mo monela jwang ha le ka tsebe. Ke lo monela motho ona a soka ang tshosa ke re lanyane. Ha soka ang tshosa ke re lanyane, mara that's what black people do. O lo tsamaya wena o lo icheka like noganyana mo pela motho. Asnang tabalwen, otlo mo etsa ra bele tabalwena, because you literally desire that people should be envious of you. Bantu bamnyama, ambani yoboda grandshap angifuna la ngande khona yazi ngikele hlweli ngiflanga ke le hlweli ake tlhaloganya hore why letsa na so I don't get it. How you gonna go grab ischeme sakho sonke sasesikolweni and say over my dead body that any of y'all should be more successful than me? You are literally grabbing all of South Africa, black South Africa. You are grabbing the first recipients of retribution to black people after apartheid ended, and you are saying a percentage of you are not going to be empowered. I'm going to be the only one. Utate the first generation entrance into a democracy. That's what we are. Tina Esizalwe, 1984, 5, 6, etc. We are a first generation, 1982, basically going forward. We are a first generation recipient. We are first generation recipients of the democracy and black economic empowerment. We are the first generation to receive all that, guys. Let's decided to grab a stats for the country and say no. Instead of us getting 25% of the black youth being managers by the time they get to the age of 30. How about we make that 9% and I'm going to be among the 9%. The remaining 11%. 6%. 11 is 11. 25 to 9. Yeah, Karabo, you my math, am I going dumb? You get my point. The remaining percentage that was supposed to grow in and just made it tiny small, shrunk it, Ngarake Alice in Wonderland eating a cookie, and then said, I'm gonna be among the only successful blacks in a country where black people just got freed from rubbish, and now I'm gonna be the only black doing well. We get taken out from systematic oppression, and then we get oppressed by other black people. What the heck? It's gonna cause a civil uprising among the rest of the races in this country, especially white people. They are gonna fight, and they will not care to be politically correct. It's going to happen. So when it does happen, Batwasem Zanzi, this thing, you had it coming, and it is a necessary thing to happen. And as for me, according to the Lord, from what I see, I'm leaving. I'm not going to be here when South Africa breaks out into civil war because of its inequality. When white people start to come out with all of their fangs and bite into blacks because they've been holding it in all this time, brewing and stewing in those juices. They've been holding it in because black people are made to get away with so much murder because apparently they can't be racist, except this here is rubbish and it needs to end. You don't get to be the abused kid, you random buffoon sitting around in a strange corner, and then abuse those who are now trying to take care of you later on. You don't get to do that. Liloile all of your cousins, all of your friends, liloile the boyfriend, the girlfriend, the husband, the wife, bana into oblivion until the country can no longer breathe, and I am leaving. Right now my channel is frozen, and I've been reeling and begging and asking God, why are you allowing this to happen again, Father? Like, goodness gracious, like what? And God was like, Karabo, relax, Blom, make like a flower. Make like a flower. Blom, I told you it's time. Your breakthrough is here. This is just spiritual war. Udolwana, and you're going to conquer it. It's witchcraft coming from the black community of people that are telling themselves, that's what black people are telling themselves. You're gonna stay in the green. You're gonna chill around, going nowhere. You will have no joy. You will have no peace. You will have no husband. How to bora galingalo la gago? Unzo di bizunto smile like a beauty spot sa gago. Oskatore tena man. Yar. They will keep saying that. But this time around, unlike before, I have not awarded them permission to just keep you frozen. This time around, you're going to successfully pray off their witchcraft. You are going to conquer. And you're going to get out. You're going to escape the grain. I am rescuing a remnant out from black defeatism. The rest of them, you are going to get a flood of civil war coming at you. And it's going to decimate your country before it builds it back up again. It is going to decimate your country. Black people, you have destroyed South Africa because of your defeatism. But Ntwele Yetsang is unsustainable. You don't get to have your bread buttered on both sides. You don't get to have the laws benefiting you. You don't get to still be blessed underneath this rainfall of the Constitution that's covering you. You don't get to keep on raising the race card and the fact that you're previously disadvantaged. And you do not get to keep BEE running in the country indefinitely, with you utterly shattering your opportunities under it. You have pulled the rug from under my black economic empowerment. So why do you think God is going to let you keep that going? Because you're wasting it. It's been 30 years. You should be a lot farther down the road than where it is that you find yourselves. It's been 30 years. And after 30 years, the occult. You have no respect for imzimba yenu. Nikunya igazi. Mani delivwa. Izinto enizihlanzayo ziyamangaza in comparison to other people. Le tlhatsa dipekere. Anere kinge kana e go nnisitseng dipekere in the occult. Kinge kana. You carry the digoloshi. Halena the respect for mmele ya lona. Le nwa madi. Batho. Le fisana ka batho ba ko heno in satanic rituals. Le lawyer. Guys, le ka lawyer ha botlhoka. Le ka lawyer to a point where a woman's channel grows 200 subscribers in a week and next thing she's frozen and jafela oplomile. Can you be so creepy? Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger. Like even when you literally create a creepy life out of people that you have bewitched. Another little South Africa hopping up and on people on some ham, you pride yourself in being Lulu Buyile, Lisilo ruler. When now Olisilo when you are a thing that goes bump in the night. That's who you are. Oh, that thing. You are priding yourself in Tabaro Mampoto Kesi when I ghost you. What's happening? Cause ukwenze dipikiri. Ha ona tlhompho for mmele wa gago. Ha o keta mo, ha go la channel ya Karabo e freezitse. Ebe we pizza star maronza steering. Una no wena o fitlhile o Rambo. You think ukuthi into oyenzile makes out of you something powerful. Instead it just makes you a creep. That's what you are abantu bamnyama. Ngama creep ever. Cause ama channel abantu kathi ba freeze. Abantu abahlakaniphika kabi. Abakwazi ukusebenza. Abantu abemina bebene kamva bane history enye thriving bese umuntu azoba frozen nje umfazi omuhle kangaka akakachadwi akona mundoda efuna ukumshela batho hana ntho etsahalang mo bophelong baka a ke gone go sebetsa a ke gone tsa next ke tlhalifile ke ntsoeba hana ntho e shotang ka nna mara nna ke shota ka everything ke atelwa ke shelwa ke banna ba business ba bitsa bo hello nice ba apere di stoffi tsa school uniform because hana ntho e ba sa shelling. You've subjugated a woman and placed her in a positioning amfanele bese niyahleka uhleka indaba yokuthi you've caused a nation yonke yo South Africa ka ofela ifeletse ore iphuthe matsogo and ignore a travesty happening in front of them to halt lipukisitse South Africa ka ditshara tsa lona le dipekere tsa le dikwenyang le ha kita mo be di tlo itsheka ka your maggoted behinds all up in my grill because when you succeeded to be the most successful one out of schemes outside the chomtsao tsa ko sekolong ka ofela o ba loile girl o ba loile into oblivion o ba loile kola o loile scheme ka ofela o botsa ma lo ba chartered accountant how can mo boti pride in being the most successful one out of rona ka ofela ask isi girl untso icheka with your maggoted behind go gontsha tswa pele bunga ya gago go e anega in broad daylight batho tlo ibona with all of its skid marks ka ofela di gama tsa lona ba tlo di bona inyongo ya yenu yonke black people izokhitwa ever and njengoba ningafuna ukuhlanza le ibekere zenu nyohlanziswa by civil war. I am telling you now, black people, civil war is coming to the country, and when it does, do not dare blame it on anybody else. And this guy called Bita Mahuadi racist because you put them in a position to blow their tops until there was war in the land. Watch the space. Let's go Nice for my account. YouTube in the next coming days. Go Facebook. The DM from random strangers. Now suna ezi. What do they call this? After he showed me. Yes, this is something that I've got to say. Before prophesying this particular thing. The channel double in a month. In 4 weeks, 1 month, the Lord showed me all of my channels are going to double in size. My biggest one right now is sitting on 800 and something subscribers. All right, let's round it off to the nearest 10 or nearest 100, 900. What's 9 times 2? 18. So according to God, there's going to be a month where I go from these 800 and something subscribers to 1,900, almost 2,000 subscribers in just 1 month. Like I'm going to double the size of my subscribers. And out of all of my channels, I've got one that's 8 something, another one is 5. So 2 of my channels are going to be over the 1,000 subscriber mark at the end of this whole thing. So wanna know my scary cat state, where it is that I'm freaking out, that I'm frozen. God is like, nah, this time around, go break her through. But not first before telling them where to get off. You are literally going to induce civil war in the country if you don't repent. Nobody is going to kiss Iezi Yako anymore. I'm signing out in Christ's name, la man. Bye.